Today and tomorrow. That's how long TikTok has to stay alive and available for you and me here in the United States. That's because President Trump's enforcement delay of the TikTok ban runs out on June 19th. That's Thursday. So what's going to happen between now and then? Well, President Trump just explained his game plan to reporters on Air Force One this morning.
Are you going to extend the TikTok deadline again?
Probably, yeah.
Probably, yeah, probably seems like a really vague answer to you. But based on how President Trump has answered this very question in the past, probably, yeah, is probably a good sign for TikTok. When or if he signs that extension, we just don't know yet. But obviously, the clock is ticking. Now, I have been reporting since this whole thing started that these presidential delays are legally questionable. Now, in case you didn't know, the TikTok ban took effect January 19th. The ban is the law. TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, has still not divested its U.S. operation. So if you are using TikTok today, you're using an app that is banned in the United States. Now you may be wondering, well, if that's true, Lisa, then how come I'm able to use it? You're able to use it because when President Trump took office on January 20th, he signed an executive order that directed his Attorney General, Pam Bondi, to basically look the other way when it came to TikTok and the TikTok ban. He ordered her not to enforce the astronomical fines required in the law if TikTok remained operational. Those fines would cripple even a massive company like Apple or Google. Trump ordered Bondi and the Justice Department to not enforce the law that was passed by Congress and upheld as constitutional by the U.S. Supreme Court. And he didn't just brush off the enforcement of the law once, he delayed it in April too. And probably, yeah, he's going to delay it a third time this week. Now, as I said, those delays are legally questionable. The law that banned TikTok does not give any president the legal authority to delay the ban or enforcement of the ban unless a deal for ByteDance to sell TikTok is about to close. But that's not happening. There is no deal about to close. And despite what the law literally says in black and white, President Trump insists he has the power to continue to delay enforcement of the law.
You have the legal basis to do that?
Yeah, we do.
President Trump has also said from the beginning that he is delaying the enforcement of the TikTok ban because he believes he can make a deal with ByteDance that would not only comply with U.S. law, but also comply with Chinese law. Of course, ByteDance is based in China, and because of that, the Chinese government also has to sign off on the sale of sensitive technology like TikTok's powerful algorithm. So far, the Chinese government has not signed off on any deal for ByteDance to sell. But President Trump says after last week's positive negotiations with Chinese officials on trade, he thinks they can get there.
They have to get China approval. I think we'll get it.
You have the legal basis?
I think President Xi will ultimately approve it.
So far, again, there has been no indication from China that they are willing to accept a deal for ByteDance to sell U.S. TikTok. But I guess anything's possible. The other issue that is starting to emerge now is that some lawmakers are starting to get a little antsy. They're starting to grumble that the law that they worked so hard to pass is still not being enforced. I'll remind you, both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly voted yes to ban TikTok. So for now, it seems like while those lawmakers may be getting uncomfortable with these delays over and over and over, they are willing to give President Trump more time to see if he can get to a deal. But at some point, that patience may wear out. Now, I'll keep you posted on when or if President Trump signs that extension for TikTok, but I will remind you that anything could happen here. So it is critical for you to make sure that you are signed up for my daily Facts HQ email. It is not only an excellent resource, but it is going to be the best way for you to make sure that you stay connected to me if something happens to TikTok. So make sure you sign yourself up.